Hey, what's up, Hope Shot family? Welcome back to our live events. Tonight we have our Addiction to Success, and we have Brianne. She's going to share her story on what it was like from active addiction to recovery. But first, let me read the Hope Shot Clarity Statement real quick. All right. And we here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family. So a little backstory on Brianne. She is actually in Oklahoma. And when we first started doing these live events, she was the one that popped on and shared her story with us. And she actually came on a Sunday night with us on a topic. And we've been, just talking ever since. And she's been a huge supporter of the Hope Shot. And we asked her if she wanted to come share her story, and she was willing to do that. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her share. Go ahead, Brianne.
All right, guys, bear with me because I think I'm on quite a bit of a delay here. But so like he said, my name's Brianne, and my walk in addiction probably started when I was like 13. I had met a guy, and that's kind of, he introduced me to meth, and he kind of used it to control me at the time. He would keep my drugs in his pocket, give me everything I wanted, but he was also just not a good guy. He would take away my clothes and leave me chained up in a basement, and just whatever, just to keep control of me with my drugs and everything that I was doing. I finally got out of that situation, and I stopped using. I actually stopped using for several years. I had 2 kids in the meantime, and didn't get back into that until I was in my 20s. I was married at that time, and I've struggled with a lot of health issues. So I, at the time, thought I had a really awesome doctor, which was the beginning of my downfall. He wrote me scripts out the wazoo. I'm 5 foot tall. At the time I was like 105 pounds, but I was prescribed like 8 Dilaudid a day, which, when they changed the opiate laws, left me in a crazy bind. So in withdrawal, I had a friend tell me, if I just started smoking dope again, that it would at least get me up and moving, which led to a dual addiction, because I found my opiates again. It led to H being cheaper than the pills on the street. So that's where I went, became a needle user. I lost everything. My mother died. I lost my children. I lost my home. I lost my husband. I was living under a bridge, and not like an overpass bridge either, like a dirty creek bridge. That's where I actually did my opiate detox, which was probably one of the most real moments of my life. Living in a mud pile, detoxing off of heroin, was definitely, I thought it was going to be the last thing that I ever knew. What had happened in the meantime, I've been stabbed, I've been kidnapped, I've been held hostage, I've been raped. I've had a gun to my head, with the trigger pulled. It actually misfired. I just walked in a really, really dark place all the time. And one day, in all of this addiction, I was doing so much havoc to my body because I already had health issues. I was in liver failure. I'm type 1 diabetic. So my body was really struggling to even just move. And I was trying to walk to the local soup kitchen, And I was so weak, I went to step up on the curb and I fell and I face planted a stop sign. And this man in his late 70s actually came over to help me up and uh, take me to get food. They were already closed, but when they were, he turned me over to a local outreach that was a church, which totally opened my eyes, because as a church, I thought I would be judged and turned away. I was disgusting. I was 62 pounds. I told him, I was like, listen, I'm higher than giraffe ears. Like, but they showed me love and compassion and they tried to help me out. And though it still took a while, I eventually was done. I went to Texas, checked into a rehab. By that point, I had literally detoxed long enough homeless that I peed clean going into rehab. And I was just done. I just knew that if I had to do that again, I was going to die. So I did. I think they only let me stay for like 2 weeks and they booted me out. Not knowing anybody in Texas, I went to a sober living facility that they actually have for homeless people. So it's free of charge. You just have to supply your own necessities. And they're only supposed to let you stay for 3 days or 30 days, but I stayed for 3 months, trying to make my way back to Oklahoma. Since I have been back in Oklahoma, I have my own place. I do outreach on a daily basis, trying to help others get into recovery, feeding those who need it, praying for people, definitely, sharing the love that I have felt from God and that hope that He gave me, with everyone else that I can possibly get to listen. Because without it, I never, ever would have made it. I actually have my daughter here. I think she's hiding from the camera, but I lost my kids. My child, I still don't have custody of her. She chooses to be in my home on a daily basis because she wants to be around me now. That's amazing, because she didn't even want to talk to me on the phone or have anything to do with me. It would cry at saying my name. And, Monday through Friday, this girl lives with me by choice. It's restored a lot of my family. I have siblings that are teenagers. My niece was named after me. It's just insane to me that I was at a point where I would have been in tears, grateful to even have a bathroom to use. And took so much of what little I did have for granted, because all that truly mattered to me then was getting high, where I was going to get it, what I was going to do to get it, how I was going to hit a vein because my body was so destroyed. And now I have so much that I didn't think was even possible for me to reach anymore. I do still lay in bed at night and I'm like, I'm thankful I have a pillow. I'm thankful I got socks on my feet. Like, because it's when you've reached those depths, it's so easy to lose sight of those things that I have to check myself and be like, hey, you have a lot now, but like, there was a point in time where you were grateful to have a comb to brush your hair. Like, and staying appreciative of those things and the amazing people that God has put in my life, to help me on this path. I now do street ministry. Shout out to my Hope dealers. On once a week, we go out, we feed people, we preach the gospel, we give out clothes, we pray for people. One of our founders is actually a Christian rapper. She's pretty amazing. Y'all check out Alyssa O'Connor. But everyone that we do this outreach with has a lot of the same story, a background in addiction, that's been set free from that bondage, and they're now sharing that hope. Hope Dealers comes from, we were slinging dope to slinging hope. I mean, we knew how to do it then, so we got a better product now. But yeah, there's been, I can honestly say, because of the path that I walked in addiction and the lows that I hit, now that I am, sober and clean and living this life, it is literally the best life that I have had. Because though I have so much more, I have a little level of gratitude and appreciation for those things that I wouldn't have had before. I mean, I went from a runway model to living in the gutters. Like I said, 62 pounds, there wasn't much left of me by the time I quit. I was in and out of ICU. I had flatlined like 6 times in a year span, overdosing or getting stuff that was laced with just whatever, because I really didn't care at that point. If it would go in a spoon and it would dissolve, it was going in. I just knew that if I didn't change then, that I was setting myself up for a very short and brief existence here, and a miserable one at that. I believe with all my heart that I was brought through that by my God, so that I can help share that hope with other people, and be somebody who shares that with an understanding of what it is and what it's like, and how far down you can be and still make it out. So it's pretty amazing. I don't even know that I can share how bad it had gotten and the drastic difference in what life is. Even to this day, there's still some big obstacles thrown at me. There's some big things that just, life's terms aren't always great, but I was telling Justin a minute ago, like, facing those with my head on my shoulders instead of lodged in my rear it's a whole different ballgame, because I don't have to go get high and then deal with the fact that I was high and that the problem's still there when I come down, and then I've screwed up everything else that I did when I was high. I'm able to address them like an adult and like a normal, somewhat sane person. I'm able to be there for my children, and which has been, it's been really hard lately. So I'm going to be kind of blunt. I had to just recently have my own blood brother, we've been friends my whole life, arrested for molesting my youngest child. And let me tell you that if there was something that I felt made me want to use, it was that. I can proudly say that I haven't. I have stayed clean and sober through that. And that to me is a huge deal, because a stubbed toe was a reason to get high before. And I'm able to be there for my child on a level that I just couldn't before, which is huge for her. There's just so many things that it impacts differently as a different person. Like, if the me now would have met the me then, I got the love of God in me, but I'd have killed her and tell God she died. Because, she just couldn't do anything right. And I still screw up with things in life quite often, but I do it sober. And I'm able to pick up the pieces a whole lot faster and kind of put it back together, because I don't have to add that chaos and drama to it as well. It was kind of, I definitely felt it was a God thing that I was asked to do this when I was, because I was really struggling at the time with, like, I wanted to get high. Dealing with this, I had to drive past two of my former dealer houses to go to a meeting, the night I had my brother arrested. But it was obviously, it checked me again, and I went to that meeting and I stayed sober that night. But then following that, I was asked if I was going to give my testimony on here, and it's like God's telling me, hey, I'm not done yet, and you're not done yet. You've got to stay on this path, which has been very humbling, but an amazing feeling as well, because I'm clinging to that sobriety and my faith, and the works that I am able to do because I am clean, and walking in my relationship with God, and able to help others out of that life who I didn't feel there was that strong of a presence for people in recovery when I was in addiction. And the more I can help make that presence known anywhere that I'm at, I'm down for it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to share.
Hit the wrong button. Oh, thank you, Brianna. It's cool when people get vulnerable on here and actually share the truth about what goes on in addiction. Because, like, look, I mean, in recovery, not addiction, because it's no matter what, man, it's life on life's terms, and like it's always how we react to that life on life's terms, And you've shared it with me a few times about what you're going through. I mean, you're going through some stuff, and for you to say yes to coming on here and sharing your story, and to, keep fighting, to stay in recovery is amazing. And, that's where the test comes from, man, and, you're talking about the little things like socks and pillows and stuff like that. Yo, I can relate, because like okay, when I was growing up, I didn't get no freaking new clothes for school. I didn't get all that stuff. And like, I have so many socks, and it's like, people don't understand. Like, it's a little thing to some people, but those are huge things to us,
Right. I'm like, hey, man, I have more than one pair of underwear.
I don't gotta go wash it in the sink,
That's horrible. But I mean, it's true.
It's true, and it's crazy. I mean, what normal people would be like, what the fuck, But it's the little things, man. It's the little things that we keep on, being grateful for. That's what keeps us in our recovery, and keeps us in that mindset,
Right. So Monday, I was actually at an NA meeting, and I started tearing up. I just got glasses this weekend. I've never worn glasses in my life.
You look smarter. I don't know why.
Dude, that's funny, because I keep telling everybody they made me smarter. But I've never worn glasses. Last year, I had detached retinas and had eye surgery, which they keep you awake for, mind you. They keep you awake and cut your eyeball open. I think that's like some sort of torture, but and you have to lay on your face 23 hours a day for a week afterwards. But I haven't been able to see for a year, and they have to let that fully heal. And so this weekend I was able to get glasses for the first time, and I was so excited. We were driving down the road, and I was like, I can read that sign, and I can read that sign. But never in addiction would I even have tried. Like, would I have been responsible enough to even make an appointment, or be accountable enough to show up to it if it was made for me? Because even sight was not more important than that next high. So, I mean, yeah, it's little things like glasses and being able to read street signs. And we're not going to tell the cops that I've been driving around for a year and not able to read the street signs, but that's another story. But you know, it is little things. I have more than one pairs of shoes, you know, and that's a funny story in addiction that I'll share. So I made a girl mad one time. She came and stole a bunch of my clothes. Now, mind you, like I said, I am 5 foot tall. I was less than 100 pounds. She's like 5'11", 6 foot. So she stole a bunch of my clothes, came back to beat me up because the clothes of mine that she stole didn't fit her. And when I was like, I don't know what you expected. Like, I'm wearing a little girl size 12 now. She stole the right shoe to every pair of shoes I owned. And I used to have like a shoe problem, like 7,500 pairs of shoes. So I had the left shoe to every pair. I couldn't even put 2 different pairs together to have a shoe on each foot. I just had like 75 left shoes. I think that's probably one of the most creative, vindictive things that anybody has done in addiction. But yeah, I was walking around. They wouldn't have fit her either, but she was like, I'm going to get you, and took the left or the right shoe to every single pair of shoes I owned. And so I walked around without shoes for a long time. When I detoxed, it was in the middle of winter. My clean date is in January. So that whole time, detoxing under a bridge, walking around. Now, I was in a smaller town, but you know, I didn't have shoes. Literally, the only way my tiny little body stayed warm and made it through without dying that winter was I was smart enough. I built a small fire and put rocks in it. And I would take these rocks and put them in the bottom of a pit that I had dug out and cover them with a blanket. And so these hot rocks in the bottom of this pit was literally my heat source. Because I literally, you could count my ribs through my breast. My hips were sticking out of the front and back of my body. It was horrible. You could watch my jawbone move as I talked. Nobody thought I was going to live. The doctors told me I wasn't going to make it, that I would never see 35. Mind you, I will be 36 next month.
Well, happy birthday next month. I don't know if in case I forget, you know. Yeah, you know, it's 62 pounds. I don't care how tall you are. That's you know, pretty skinny. You know, I was in my worst of my worst, I was 130 pounds and I'm almost 6 foot. So, you know, that's
pretty skinny. Because I weigh 135 now at 5 foot, which, I mean, I had never weighed that much previous to addiction. Like I said, I was a runway model and I was in a lot of modeling stuff. So I couldn't be very big, but I think at my heaviest, I was maybe 115. But I mean, 65 is a small fraction of that. It was to the point when they would put me in the hospital because I was defiant, you know, living that life as an addict. I wouldn't stay in my hospital bed, and they put bed alarms on me, but I didn't weigh enough to keep them from going off. So they took them off my hospital bed, because if I rolled over or anything, my body weight wasn't enough to keep the sensors from sounding the alarm that I wasn't even in the bed. So I was detached retinas, couldn't see, didn't weigh anything, liver failure. So even at 65 pounds, I had this huge distended stomach, looked like I was, you know, 7 months pregnant. Couldn't even step up on a curb without falling down. It was insane, the level of death that I was walking around in.
How is your health now?
I still struggle with some things. I've been healed from a lot of things. I am not in liver failure. Actually never even took treatment for that. It just literally took me getting clean. And I believe I serve a healing God. So my liver is actually functioning at a normal level. I am still diabetic and take insulin shots. I can see because I have glasses. But last year I they sent me to a cancer specialist, and they did a PET scan, which is like a CT for cancer. And anything that registers above a 4 is considered cancerous. And I had 5 spots in my body that registered at a 9. And so they scheduled me for surgery a month later. And I had literally spent that month probably in the most devout prayer of my life. And they came back when I was conscious after surgery, and they're like, listen, we know we diagnosed this a month ago, but we can't find any of this. We can't even locate it in your body. So there's been a lot of healing in my body. It's kind of insane to even talk about. It sounds unreal to me, even though I lived it. You know, I walk around at normal human size, not zombie weight.
Not zombie weight. Oh, well.
But yeah, I mean, like there's been so much life breathed into my body on so many different levels. You know, I was telling you before how several months ago, a friend of mine had hired me to scrape popcorn ceilings for him. I could not step up on a curb 3 years ago. So for my 5 foot tall self to be up on a ladder scraping dry popcorn off the ceiling is a miracle in itself. Like, that's huge.
You should have hit me up.
I don't think you're going to drive all the way from Florida, but
no, but I'll tell you a secret to wet it.
I mean, yeah, because I had never scraped ceilings before. I was like, bet, I'll do it. I learned my lesson. But you know what? I got it done. You know, I live on a 2nd story at an apartment complex. There is no way on God's green earth I could have walked up those stairs even twice a day, much less, you know, several times a day to even live up here. It wouldn't have been possible. I would have never made it. It's really, really the small things that you're just like, you know, I couldn't carry my grocery bags in. Not that I bought food, but you know, I couldn't have done it if I did have something to carry in. I had to have someone else do it. Which those of us who have walked in that part of the life know that when you're 62 pounds and 5 foot tall, you're an easy target. So I'm sure you can imagine the things that people were like, let's do this because it's easy pickings, you know? But God, I'm here. I'm doing much better. I'm much healthier, being healed more and more every day. And I believe that God does that so that I can help others out of that pit. You know, it's a dark place down there.
Amen.
So
yes,
if I can be the light in that darkness for somebody, even if I try 150 times, if I'm that light for somebody, I'm doing something right.
You are doing something right. And look, you can see. Hey, I'm glad you are healed, and I'm glad that you could see. That way you don't get in any accidents. You can read signs and stuff, and not word merge when you're not supposed to, or something like that. I'm going to read a few of these comments real quick. Tammy Avens, she says, so proud of you. Tracy, I'm sure you can see all these, right? Can you see these comments? No? Okay. No? It must just be on the computer. It says, Brianna, your story is amazing. Thank you for sharing. God bless you. Thank you, Tracy. She's always here supporting us here at the Hope Shot. We got Keita. She says, hello, Hope Shot, checking in. 347 days and counting. Congratulations, Keita. Yeah. We got Bianca. Oh, here. This is a question you can answer. How can I help my son? It's so hard.
So first off, my biggest thing is, because it's your son, it probably will not be you that can help him. Even like I was talking about my brother, and us being so close, he's an active addiction, and that's never the person that he has been. But him and I are too close, that I can't reach him. It doesn't matter if I can help 200 people in a day. His ears are deaf to what I have to say. But you can put him in touch with other people, even other addicts who have walked closely in the same shoes that he has, or just people who can be sympathetic to that side of it, but still show him the other side of that life. That would be my best advice, because I know the ones we love, we want to help the most, but we don't tend to be as helpful as we want to be to those people that are that close to us.
Definitely not it. And it's crazy because it's like the ones that love them the most. It's hard for them to take the message from the messenger. You know what I mean? So I would suggest, I mean, if it might help you as well, Bianca, to or is it Blanca? I think I'm saying it wrong. I think it's Blanca. That there's some Nar-Anon and Al-Anon meetings, or even maybe in a church. I'm sure they have some support groups to where it can help you better help him as well.
Yeah.
It helps you. It's for the person that's not the addict. So that was my suggestion. And if you need any info, you could always message us on the Hope Shot, and we can get you any kind of links. Angel says, so sorry you had to deal with such a heartbreaking situation. It is hard, but you can get through this and become your daughter's best advocate and protector in sobriety.
Amen. That's my goal. That's my goal. She's my best friend. Like, we sit outside and crack jokes. And I mean, she's only 15 years old. And because her mother, you know, was a junkie, and then facing this with her uncle that she was close to, that kid lives through a lot at 15 years old. But, you know, she sees that I can come out of the place where she didn't think I was ever going to come out of, to see me living a good and happy, healthy life, even when trauma and, you know, stuff comes our way, shows her that she can too. And I don't know, that kid amazes me. Sometimes I think she's handling it better than I do.
Hey, you know, sometimes they do, you know, it just depends. And she's got you, and you definitely are a hope shot for her, you know? And I think that's what sometimes we need, is like an example to show us how to deal with stuff, you know? 15, I mean, shit, when I was 15, I didn't have that example. So it's a great thing that you're there and you can be that.
Dude, when I was 15, I was pregnant with her sister. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
because
I had my first kid at 16, so
yeah. I have, my oldest daughter will be 20 in February. So I have a 19-year-old and then my 15-year-old daughter. So they've been through a lot, but you know, they also know that no matter how far down you go, like there's a way out. And for me, that has been my relationship with God. My time that I spend serving others who are exactly where I was, you know, 29 months ago. Because on the 12th, I got 29 months.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I never thought I couldn't put 29 hours together, barely 29 minutes. So that is almost surreal to me. That's definitely a but God thing. And I recently moved into an area where I can share that hope with a lot of people. I lived in a smaller town. I'm in a bigger area. I'm in an area where there is a lot of oppression. And I can be a light in that dark here too. I try to find a situation to be somebody's kind of hope for something, because of the things that I've been through in almost everything. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. But I still make it through. And like I said, if I can help one person out of that 150, I'm good with it.
Exactly. Melissa says, congratulations. Jamie says, little things mean the most. We got Tiffany. She says, thank you so much for sharing your story. We have Jamie says, happy birthday early. We got Kristen says, hey guys, sorry I'm late. Thank you for sharing your story. Keita said that was the best advice ever. And I think that was about the question you answered. Kristen says, that's so true. My mom tried her hardest to help me, but until I was ready, no one could help me.
Yep.
And then we have Christina. I'm still in active addiction. I was clean for 4 years. My son lost his battle 2 years ago, and he was 24. I like to try to talk to your son. Okay, so I guess she's talking to Blanca, I'm thinking. Yeah. So maybe they can make that connection. And Angel says, hope draws others out of the darkness. So that is it for our comments. And Brianna, again, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's so cool that we're still staying connected and we're still doing this thing, and, you're definitely a strong person in recovery and we appreciate you.
Maybe next year I'll make it to Tampa for the recovery walk.
Yes, dude, listen, it's going to be big. We're going to make this thing like we're shooting for the moon. You know what I mean? So we're trying to make this thing an everyday, every year, not every day. Well, it's every day for me, but every year event. And we want to make it big, next year. So, we planned that thing in 2 months and it was a major success. So, yeah, that'd be cool if you came down and come hang out with us at the Hope Shack.
For sure.
All right.
I might need a bus. I might bring all the Hope dealers with me.
Do it. Yeah, I love that. And she has shirts that say it like right across here. You should have worn it.
We have shirts. We have shirts. They say Hope Dealers across the neck, and it's in Old English. And because of the lettering, it looks like it says Dope Dealers. But what's great about that is it opens up the conversation with so many people because they're like, Dope Dealer. Like, I like that. And I was like, actually,
Hey.
We're not slinging that anymore.
Yeah. Conversation starter, Yeah,
it works. The whole organization is based on scripture. Jeremiah 29:11. I don't know if any of my Hope Dealers people are on here, but they have some amazing testimonies themselves. I've invited them to the group. So maybe at some point, some of them will get to share their story as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much again, Brianna. And guys, join us this Sunday. We're going to have our Sunday night topics. We're going to be sharing a topic that's picked during the week, and we're going to be sharing our experience, strength, and hope on it. Try to set the tone for the week. So I hope you guys join us this Sunday live, 8 p.m. right here on the Hope Shot. Thank you all for being here. Good night. Good night, Brianna.
Good night, guys. Love y'all. Stay clean and sober.
See ya.